Andrew, I want to do a thought experiment with you real quick. Do you mind if we do a thought experiment?
Let's do a thought experiment.
Okay.
Do I need to close my eyes?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
We're going to do a thought experiment with you right now, and we're going to do a thought experiment with everybody watching.
You can join me on this journey.
Here we go. Here's my thought experiment. Morgan Freeman.
Okay.
James Earl Jones. Donald Trump. What happened in your mind and people's watching when they heard those names? They immediately thought in their mind. They knew what Morgan Freeman. If you know who Morgan Freeman is,
right.
You've heard his voice before. You could picture it.
Yeah.
In your mind, you could picture him saying something probably pretty normal, but it was awesome.
Yeah.
Because his voice just has that way.
Right.
But how do you know it was his voice versus somebody that sounds
you could
similar?
pick his voice out anywhere.
Because our brains have developed something to where all these things fire and do whatever they do, and it all comes together, and you just know. You know that was Morgan Freeman's voice.
That is true. You're right. He's one of those voices that I could just pick out.
Yeah,
of anywhere.
or Donald Trump. Let's say they're down the hall. There's a TV on. He's on TV.
Yeah.
How do you know? Now it's coming through like some tiny little
Crappy
speakers.
little speakers.
Yeah, and on a TV. But you still know.
You would know it's him, no doubt.
You still know. Our brain does something.
Okay, so I agree with you. So how could we use that in the real world?
Okay, I've been doing this for a while, and it's really helped my mixes.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So let's say we've got 5 background singers and the lead singer. Okay, we're just the band's going, all that stuff. Yeah, the band's set, whatever. But we're talking about how do you blend those vocals. So one thing that I like to do is I like to create those connections. It's not a sound guy thing. It's just a human thing.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, okay, you've heard Morgan Freeman's voice and you've made that. But I like to do that with people I just meet.
Oh, right. Like on a Sunday morning?
Yeah, like it's something you have to develop. But I've trained myself to really think about remembering somebody's voice.
Oh, interesting.
And so what you can do when you've got 3 or 4 vocals that are all singing some harmonies, if you have trained your voice or your brain to think this way, now you're using your ears, but you're using some part of your brain that
There's
really connects.
Yeah.
So now I can sit there and I don't even have to look up. I can just sit there and go, oh, that's so-and-so's voice. That's so-and-so's voice. That's so-and-so's voice.
Wow.
Because it's a connection. And I know this works because I just literally proved it in this thought experiment when I named 3 recognizable people's names. We didn't play a clip of Morgan Freeman. We didn't.
But you would know what that sounds like.
You know exactly what that sounds like.
If you've heard it before.
If you've heard Donald Trump's voice, you know exactly know what it sounds like.
Yeah.
We didn't have to play a clip.
Right.
You can do the same thing with vocals. You just have to train your brain to think this way. And now what happens? Now we don't have to think about how many times have you kind of danced the faders around like you got 3 or 4.
Who's singing what.
Oh, is that I've done it so many times.
Yeah.
But if you can develop this thing that everybody has the ability to do inside themselves, and it takes time. It's like learning to play a guitar or instrument or whatever.
Right,
you
might not get it right away.
You're not going to get it right away. Then you look at these 3 faders, and you just know that this person's on this channel, this person's on this channel, this person's in and you can blend them in with the worship leader and the band and all that kind of stuff.
I would think practically as you continue to train yourself to do this could actually be a really useful tool for setting up your entire mix. I mean, it's pretty uncommon that you mistake the bass guitar and the kick drum. You know, they sound so radically different.
Yes. Multiple guitars?
But yeah, a lot of churches have multiple electric guitars.
Yeah.
And if you can learn what each guitar tone sounds like, then you don't even really need to know who's got the lead on this song because your ear will tell you.
Your brain
like,
just
I
is
can
like,
hear that.
Oh, I know that's so-and-so's guitar. That's the way it sounds.
The other point that this brings to me, in most churches, you should be doing a line check to start your rehearsal. It's the perfect time to kind of lock that sound in.
Yes, absolutely.
And I know personally, I've done 1,000 line checks, and so this even challenges me because when I'm doing a line check, I have a list of things that I think I need to do in my head, right? And we talk about in another podcast how you need to probably challenge that list because maybe that list says I need to gain check, EQ, compress, but maybe you don't need to do all those things. That's another talk. But during your line check, I tend to kind of clock out. I'm guilty of that.
We all are.
I tend to not really pay attention. Like I'm doing my things. I'm checking levels. Maybe somebody's yelling at me to put it in their monitor. but I'm not listening. And that's a detriment, because the line check is the perfect opportunity for you to be locking that sound into your ear and going, that's what that person sounds like.
Especially if you've got a lot of channels that are similar.
Yeah.
If you've got 4, 5, 6 vocals on stage all singing harmonies together, it's a lot of channels that sound very similar.
Right.
And so this is just a thought experiment. This is just something I do. This is not something that I've read about, or
Sure.
I don't even know if something like this is on the internet. It's just something that I've kind of developed over the last year and a half or so, and I felt like sharing it.
I think it's great. It's a great way for you to continue to learn and grow, not just your skills, but your inner ear and your ability to comprehend what's going on.